Hi everybody, my name is Paige Domgard. I'm going to be presenting on my current event paper. The article that I chose was Civil Rights Law Protects Gay and Transgender Workers, Supreme Court Rules. This was posted by the New York Times and it was written by Adam Liptak. Basically, this whole article was about the Supreme Court ruling on the protection of gay and transgender workers. This article was posted on June 15th, 2020, which was the same day as the ruling. So what this ruling did, it now protects gay and transgender workers from any discrimination that they experience in the workplace. So now it is against the law for an employer to fire an employee just based on their sexual orientation and or gender identity. This case went off the basis of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Basically, they were going off of the last part of the Civil Rights Act, which, quote, bars employment discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, and sex. So the whole case was based on, does that last part, the sex part, does that also include gay and transgender people of the community? The article also goes into detail about how it was a 6-3 ruling, and it's the first major case over transgender rights. So that's a little bit of history based on that. There's also a 164-page opinion written by the court, basically going over issues and challenges that the LGBTQ plus community has faced, like things over like restrooms or like changing rooms, problems over like sports, like who can be on what team or like play on like men's versus women's, pronouns, just a whole bunch of stuff. It also mentioned that it is, before this ruling, it was legal in more than, I believe, half the states to actually fire someone over being gay or transgender. So this is a really big thing that people were experiencing, and it wasn't against the law. So the overall reaction to this ruling has been positive, just because it does protect gay and transgender workers. There have been questions that have popped up by the other justices, or they're kind of wondering how this is relative to the Title VII Civil Rights Act of 1964, just because those justices that voted against the ruling believed that the majority of the court was interpreting the sex part of the Civil Rights Act wronged. Basically, they were interpreting as it is now defined today, not as it was defined in 1964, which was sex was just a man and a woman. It had nothing to do with sexual orientation or gender identity. So Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr., with a joint dissent with Justice Clarence Thomas, felt that, quote, if Congress wanted to protect gay and trans workers, it could pass a new law, unquote. So basically what he was saying was this case has no ties with the Civil Rights Act 1964 just because of the interpretation of sex is not what it was. For the analysis of the authors, like how it's written and how it's their position on the issue, I feel that they did a pretty good job at staying neutral, not really putting any biases or anything like that into the article. They really went on both sides of everything, trying to give the most accurate information on how people felt about it and why they did. They also went over like just the significance of the court case, opinions of others, how it compares to other court cases that have previously been done. I did select this article just because it's relative to the community I am a part of. I also just thought it was an important thing to know and be aware of. How this article relates to the class is I found that it relates to the supremacy clause just because of that part of where it was legal in more than half of the states to fire someone over being gay or transgender. Now that there is a federal court case, or now it is federal law, that surpasses state law. So that's how that's relevant to article. But overall, I think the article did a really good job at just coming at the issue in hand with just facts, not really anything else. And I think it's a really good thing that this has happened. Thank you.